And it's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia. We cover cadets, midshipmen, and the military veterans, and Iona basketball. And today we're going to do a little run through of the bowl action and the big bowl games tonight in the college football playoff. With me calling in from warm Florida is Richard Miller. We're not quite so uh, colder than you are. Richard, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Ken. How are you?
Okay, it is. I will say 48 degrees out here in White Plains today. Let's go through. We'll start with some of the games this week, and there's more coming up. This obviously a big day with the college football playoff games, and so we have tonight. We have for this afternoon. Actually, it's a 12 noon start. Alabama playing Kansas State. Kansas State is 10-3. Alabama 10-2. That is in the All-State Sugar Bowl. And then next we're going to have Kentucky playing Iowa. And that is in the Music City Bowl in Nashville, Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. That's also a 12 noon start on ABC. And ABC, ESPN covering 4 of these games today. And then we've got TCU and Michigan. TCU 12-1, Michigan 13-0 in the college football playoff game. That is a 4 o'clock start. And Ohio State will be playing Georgia. And that is going to be at the Peach Bowl. And that's an 8 o'clock start on ESPN. Georgia comes in 13-0, Richard, to that game. And Ohio State 11-1. So what's your thinking on those 2 big bowl games today?
Oof. My thinking on those 2 big bowl games. Obviously, I think Georgia is a much better dominant team. I'm thinking Ohio State's gonna have to keep it close, and Ohio State's gonna, I think, also need to stop Georgia's running game early. First possessions are going to be critical. Whoever wins the coin toss, and not only who wins the coin toss, but especially Ohio State, they have to score first and set the tempo. If Georgia scores first and jumps out to pretty much, I think, a big lead, it could really be it could be a a huge catching up, a huge leg up
Yeah.
what Ohio State has to do. Georgia's a 6 point favorite in this game.
Yeah, they're playing basically a home game in Atlanta. Although there will be a lot of Ohio State fans there. I think it's going to be a Georgia dominant crowd. And Michigan playing TCU out at the Fiesta Bowl in Tucson, not in Tucson, in Phoenix. And first time we've seen TCU make it to the college football playoff. They're all excited. They'll have a lot of people there. So will Michigan. And just question how everybody was able to travel through the storms and some of the airline disruption to get to these games. Now, Richard, some other games that we followed this week. Troy, 2 teams that Army played, lost to both of them this year. Troy came in number 24 in the country. Kind of amazing. UTSA number 25. Troy came out with an 18-12 win. That was in the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl. And you're a better man than I am if you know where that game was played. I think was that in Birmingham? Not sure.
The 2022 Cure Bowl. Let's see, 2022 Cure Bowl. that was played in, let's see, at the Exploria Stadium in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, that was in Orlando. Okay.
Orlando,
Okay.
Florida.
And so interesting. 2 teams that Army played very close, ranked 24 and 25th in the country. And so Troy came out on top on that one. And it's a very new football program. Done a great job building it up in a short amount of time. Same thing with UTSA. Then we had the Hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl, and UAB 24, Miami of Ohio 20. And Miami of Ohio team Army has played, beat last year. And so UAB, a program that has been resurrected, 24-20. And then Saturday, big win by Oregon State over Florida last Saturday, the 17th, on the Las Vegas Bowl, 30-3. Oregon ranked 14 in the country, not much of a showing by Florida. And at the Fenway Bowl, Louisville 24-7 over Cincinnati. I'm trying to figure out, I was reading about Fenway Park. They used to play a lot of college football games there, up until the 1970s, and maybe because the baseball season kept getting longer. They haven't really played much except for these bowl games. Boston University used to play there. Boston College would play there before they built up Alumni Stadium.
Home of the Boston Redskins from 1933 to 1936.
Yeah.
And they're gonna now also host the NHL Winter Classic coming up this week.
Is that this year? This week they're going to do it at Fenway Park. Interesting. That's a quick shift. Because it takes a while to set up an NHL hockey rink. Well, I guess they've had 10 days. And normally what they do up there is they have a couple of college hockey games. And then also they'll have a whole bunch of high school games and even some public skating. So it really, they get a lot of use out of it in Boston when they set up the rink at Fenway Park. In fact, I'd love to go up there and go skating sometime. Okay, just sort of to go through some of the more. Fresno State, a big win over Washington State, 29-6. Good win for them. And Southern Miss defeated Rice 38-24. The Lending Tree Bowl. Good to see Rice in the bowl season. They haven't done that in a long time. And then a big one out in the New Mexico Bowl. BYU defeated SMU 24-23. Good showing by SMU. But close one there. Good game. Boise State defeated North Texas 35-32. And in the Frisco Bowl, that's played in North Dallas. They have I forget which school has the stadium there. And also earlier, Marshall over UConn 28-14. And that was in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Disappointment for UConn. And who had a really tremendous comeback season. And Eastern Michigan over San Jose State 41-27. And Toledo 21-19 over Liberty. And what else we have? Just before Christmas, Western Kentucky 44-23 over South Alabama. And a big win for Air Force. They really dominated Baylor in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. 30-15. They represented the service academies well in knocking off Baylor, a major player in the Big 12. And what do we got? We got Houston over Louisiana, 23-16. And Houston moving to the Big 12 next year. Missouri loses to Wake Forest 27-17. And lots of discussion about Wake Forest's quarterback, Sam Hartman, that he has one more year of eligibility left, and he may choose to go elsewhere for that year. and a lot of discussion, a lot of talk about Notre Dame being interested. And so these college football players now, Richard, are free agents.
Mhm.
And if you are a skilled future NFL player like Sam Hartman, you can get options. And a perfect example of the factor of name, image, and likeness money. If that becomes a factor in where somebody decides to go play, and that's going to be more of a factor going forward. It's not going to go back to the way it was. We got New Mexico State over Bowling Green, 24-19. And let's see, on December 27th, let's go to some of the post-Christmas games. Yeah,
Buffalo
what do you got?
Buffalo beating Georgia Southern 23-21.
Yep.
Memphis 38-10 over Utah State in the First Responders Bowl. East Carolina beating Coastal Carolina 53-29. That's where Army lost their first game of the season at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing showing for them that they couldn't stay with East Carolina a little bit more. But certainly they built up the program there. Gave Army a tough game on opening night back in September.
Let's see.
And we have Wisconsin over Oklahoma. Good win for them. That was in Arizona at Chase Field at the indoor stadium. Everybody looked really comfortable there.
Yeah.
Didn't have to deal with the elements.
Oh.
And some good video of the Wisconsin marching band that came out of that one. Okay, Wednesday, December 28th. What do you got?
Duke defeated UCF 30-13 in the Military Bowl. Triple overtime game, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Arkansas 55, Kansas 53.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Oh,
I watched a lot of it, and Kansas came back and scored 25 consecutive points to tie it up, and then scored the first points in overtime. But Arkansas kept matching them, and so then the third overtime, Arkansas was able to win it on a 2-point conversion. And I think they're going to change the rule on overtime soon. I think it creates dramatic television. Nobody leaves the place when you're in one of these overtime games. But I think they're going to go to 2-point conversions on the first overtime instead of a kick. Because these games are going. I'm sorry.
Is that to maybe make it quicker to speed up the play?
Yeah, some of these games are going really long. ESPN was supposed to be shifting to another game, and I think they got to that game in the second quarter.
Oof.
So, if you're there, you don't mind, but some of these games were really going long. So it would seem like they'd want to go to the 2-point conversion rule on the first overtime period, right from the start, and help decide these games a little sooner. Plus, it creates these incredibly dramatic plays that are win it or lose it on one play, and it's it's a little hair raising for the coaches and the players, but it's great television. It's great to watch, especially if the team pulls it off.
Oh,
sort of like Army did in the Army Navy game. We've seen Army do it a few times.
Yeah.
So that was quite a game.
It was their best one of the year.
Well, yeah, unfortunately they didn't pick up a couple other wins along the way that would have gotten them to a bowl game and a better record. But if we all knew that if they could win the Navy game, it would make the season, kind of salvaged and palatable. Anytime you beat Navy, it's good. We felt bad though. The Navy coach got fired right after the game. I don't know what would have happened if they had managed to win that one. But our best wishes to Ken Niumatalolo. Okay, anything else? We had Texas Tech and Ole Miss, 42-25.
Oh, Texas Tech beat Ole Miss 42-25. Oh, come on, come on, what? Who's in my place in those scores? Texas Tech beat Ole Miss 42-25. Come on, gotta get back up. Yeah, okay, that was the Tax Act Bowl. December 29th, you have Minnesota defeating Syracuse 28-20 in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. The Cheez-It Bowl, number 13 Florida State. It must be very lucky 13. 35-32 over Oklahoma. Number 12 Washington defeated number 20 Texas 27-20 in the Alamo Bowl. And last night on December 30th, it was in the Duke Mayo's Bowl 16-12 Maryland over number 23 NC State. Pitt 37-35 in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. UCLA is ranked number 18. Notre Dame Fighting Irish 45-38 over South Carolina in the Tax Later Gator Bowl. Overtime last night in the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, Ohio and Wyoming 30-27. Tennessee defeated Clemson 31-14 in the Capital One Orange Bowl last night. And let's see, besides the college football playoff games, this Monday you've got number 22 Mississippi State taking on Illinois. Both teams 8-4 on the season. Number 16 Tulane and number 10 USC in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. That will be both teams 11-2 on the season. Also, you have number 17 LSU taking on Purdue. Purdue is 8-5, taking on LSU in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That will be a 1:00 game. All two of these three are going to be at 1:00, and of course, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game. It's going to be at 5:00. Number 11 Penn State 10-2 and Utah 10-3. I think this is one of the first times in recent years of the college football playoff is that there is no night game on like New Year's Day, because tonight there is a Monday night football game.
Well, the NFL took over
has
New
that.
Year's Day this year.
Yes.
But the colleges got the college football playoff on Saturday night tonight. And then they'll have some more games on Monday at the Rose Bowl. I think it hurts having those games on Monday because a lot of people are traveling back to their homes from vacation trips. But I think a lot of people will settle in and watch the Rose Bowl. It is interesting. There isn't a late game. Traditionally, the Orange Bowl was always played after the Rose Bowl. They sort of won Cotton Bowl, Rose Bowl, and then Orange Bowl for at least when I was growing up. So everything's changed now, the college football playoff, and it's going to change even more when they go to a 12-team format, because this will all be spread over 3 weeks. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it or how far it's going to extend, but it means there'll be less games on New Year's Day. I don't know if they're going to go and put the quarterfinal games before Christmas or Christmas week or New Year's Day, which would create.
I can. What I think they should do is actually they should put the those college football games at the right before the national championship game. They should actually be the last 2 games before the national championship game. I've been thinking about that. That hasn't been the case, but that should be something.
Just when do you want to play the quarterfinals? You're going to have 4 quarterfinal games, or at least you're going to have 2 quarterfinal games. You're going to have play-in games.
Yeah. Spread those games out over the days. Play like Saturday, Sunday, just like what the NFL does. Spread them out over a couple of days. Like they're now going to a Monday night wild card game.
Yeah, the challenge is that some of the colleges, the students aren't necessarily going to be at the campuses during the holiday break or even in early January. And a lot of them, not every college stadium is winterized. Like
Hmm.
Mikey Stadium, West Point isn't winterized. They can't, the pipes will freeze. If they set it up for a winter event, and so there's a lot. It's also like how many more weeks can you know, can can fans travel? How many games are going to go to neutral sites versus playing at home stadiums? There's a lot of questions on expanding the schedule because the original thought had been with bowl games, everybody can travel on New Year's weekend, and but now you're asking college fans to travel 3 weeks, possibly 3 weeks in a row, and that's a little bit more challenging. And then you know so there's a lot of questions on how it's going to be run. That they'll figure it out because there's a lot of money to be made. But college football will be different. There still will be bowl games because there's still teams that are going to want to go play a game after the season ends. Everybody wants to play another game, a bowl game or a playoff game. So I think this year there were 60 teams playing in bowl games this year, just about more than half of Division One. And everybody who doesn't make a bowl game is disappointed. And so we're going to see. So the bowl games are going to continue. It's just you're going to have these games that are college football playoffs, and there's a lot of logistical questions about how it's going to work that I haven't heard answers to. So we'll see. So Richard, what's your prediction? We're going to wrap up your prediction on the playoff games today: TCU and Michigan.
I'm taking Michigan. I'm thinking it'll be at least a blowout, not a close game. I'm gonna go Michigan 37 to 21. Michigan's gonna win that game, and the Georgia Ohio State game. Oh, I think Georgia is too good for Ohio State. I think Georgia's gonna win this one, but it will be at least maybe a little bit more close. 24. Ohio State will give them a run for their money. So I think it's going to be Georgia, Michigan for the national championship.
Okay, that'd be a good one. And I have to agree. I think it's Georgia Michigan will be the championship game. Hopefully, it's a good game. Sometimes we see some blowouts in these championship games, and it doesn't make for the best television. I was once actually at the Notre Dame Alabama national championship game down in Miami, and gosh, that game was over midway through the first quarter.
In January 2014.
Yeah, they went way ahead on that real fast.
Uh,
Anyway, Richard, thank you. Good rundown, and we'll try to do this again. And again, Happy New Year to you and to your family.
Happy New Year to you, Ken. Thank you.
Very good. And again, Happy New Year to all our listeners and viewers who appreciate, to tell you a little bit about college football. And so we'll try to get back next week with a prep on the national championship game. So thanks for watching and Happy New Year. This is Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia.